Of course Emily will push the stroller. She doesn't have a life, my sister sneered, loud enough for the entire terminal to hear. My brother chuckled. Yeah, she's basically our built-in babysitter. Their laughter cut through the airport noise. Rolling suitcases, overhead announcements, coffee machines hissing like tired engines. I felt every word land on me, soft and sharp at once. Hi everyone, my name is Emily Carter. I'm 28, a freelance designer who's made a quiet habit of saying yes. The dependable one. The background character in every family story, useful, invisible, available. The diaper bag strap dug into my shoulder as I trailed behind them. The twins, my niece and nephew, reached out for me with sticky fingers, eyes wide with trust one didn't deserve to resent. I didn't mind them. I just minded what I'd become around their parents. Don't lag behind, my sister said, tossing the words over her shoulder like gum wrappers. We can't miss boarding because of you again. I bit back, the reply rising in my throat. What would have been the point? Last year I skipped my best friend's graduation to babysit their kids during their anniversary dinner. They'd thanked me with leftover cake and a comment about how motherhood suited me. At the security line my phone buzzed. Manager, pushed your deadline 2 days. Take a breather, Emily. You deserve it. It was nothing, just a text. But it felt like someone opening a window in a locked room. Tickets, my brother said, snapping his fingers. You've got the pouch, right? Try not to drop it this time. I looked down at the travel pouch, filled with their passports, boarding passes, their control. And I stepped out of line. No announcement. No goodbye. Just movement. Emily, my sister called, her tone half laughing, half confused. Where are you going? The automatic doors slid open. Cool air brushed against my face, and for once I didn't stop it. Behind me their voices blurred into airport static. Ahead, quiet, wide, possible. Some people board to escape. I left to arrive. I stood just outside the automatic doors, the hum of airport air conditioning fading into open wind. For a moment I didn't know what to do with my hands. They'd always been busy, holding bottles, wiping faces, packing for other people. Now they just hung there. Empty. Rain speckled the curb. A shuttle driver leaned out his window. You lost, ma'am? I almost laughed. Found, actually. Inside I could see them still at the gate, heads swiveling, phones pressed to ears. My phone buzzed once. Then again. Then a flood. Sister, where the hell are you? Brother. Emily, this isn't funny. We're boarding. Mom, answer me right now. You're stressing everyone out. I silenced the phone and walked toward the taxi stand. My reflection followed me in the glass. Calm, almost unfamiliar. The girl who never said no was gone. The woman walking barefoot on wet pavement had finally told herself yes. Where to? The driver asked. I hesitated, then smiled. Anywhere but here. He nodded and the car rolled forward, the city lights starting to smear through the drizzle. My phone lit up again, 28 unread messages. I watched them without opening a single one. Each notification was a chain I decided to stop wearing. Somewhere between terminals and tail lights my chest loosened. I wasn't escaping. I was returning to myself. The rain turned steady, drumming softly on the roof, washing away their noise. I whispered into the window's fogged glass. They'll call it selfish. I'll call it beginning. The driver glanced at me through the mirror. First time leaving home? I smiled faintly. No. First time meaning it. By the time I reached my apartment my phone had gone silent. The kind of silence that feels planned. Inside the air smelled faintly of lavender detergent and unfinished plans. My suitcase still sat by the door from when I packed their things into it. Not mine. I kicked off my shoes, hung my jacket and stared at the blinking red light on my voicemail. 8 new messages. Mom, Emily, you're ruining this trip for everyone. They can't even board without the passports. Brother, you think this is funny? The twins are crying because of you. Sister, congratulations, you've made yourself the villain again. Their voices overlapped, guilt layered on guilt, polished with entitlement. I sat on the couch and let them play one after another until they stopped sounding like family and started sounding like strangers with my last name. Then the text came. Mom, you've embarrassed us at the airport. Sister, hope you're happy we had to cancel everything because of you. Brother, you owe us the money we lost. I stared at the screen until my reflection appeared in it. Tired eyes, steady breath. For years I'd believed that family meant duty. Tonight it meant distance. I opened my laptop and pulled up my design software. The cursor blinked like a small heartbeat. For once, I wasn't designing for them. Not for a baby shower invitation or a last-minute presentation. I was designing something for me. A new portfolio header. Independent. Available for personal projects only. As the line appeared on the screen, something in my chest aligned. My phone buzzed one last time. Mom, your sister says you owe her an apology. I typed back slowly, each word deliberate. Emily, tell her I already gave one years ago. She just never heard it. I hit send. The message delivered. The guilt didn't. Morning light slid through the blinds, pale and cold. I hadn't slept. My phone rested face down on the coffee table, its vibration the only sound in the quiet room. When I finally flipped it over, the notifications stacked like a confession. Mom, your father is furious. Sister, I hope you're proud of yourself. Brother, you made the twins cry all night. 3 people. 1 chorus. I scrolled further. Photos of them at the airport, luggage piled beside them, kids asleep on the floor. The captions were small stabs. Some people just don't care about family anymore. Hundreds of likes. A few pitying comments. And silence from me, the villain of their vacation. For years I'd absorbed their moods like a sponge, trying to stay soft enough to be accepted. But something in me had dried overnight. I brewed coffee, the bitter scent filling the small apartment. My mind replayed the scene at the gate. Their voices, their laughter, the way I'd walked away without trembling. Then my doorbell rang. Once. Twice. I froze. When I opened the door, my mother stood there, coat still on, face drawn in exhaustion and disbelief. She didn't speak at first. She just looked at me as if trying to recognize the daughter she couldn't control. Emily, she said finally, what you did was cruel. I nodded. It was honest. Her lips parted as if to scold me, but I saw the flicker of something. Fear, maybe. Fear that her quiet, obedient daughter wasn't coming back. She sighed. They'll never forgive you. I'm not asking them to. For the first time, she didn't have an answer. The hallway light flickered, catching both our faces. One aging from control, one finally lit by peace. She turned away first. The door clicked shut behind her, and the silence that followed wasn't empty. It was earned. 2 days passed before I saw the envelope. It was small, pink, and taped to my apartment door. The handwriting was uneven, childish. For Aunt Emmy. My chest tightened. Only 2 people called me that. I carried it inside carefully, like it might break the moment I opened it. Inside were 2 crumpled drawings. Stick figures holding hands under a crooked sun. One had wild curls labeled Lucy, the other had a red scribble smile labeled Ben. Between them was me, drawn taller, arms wide open. On the back in pencil, we miss you. Mom says you're bad, but we don't think so. I sat there staring until the lines blurred. The tears didn't come from guilt, they came from clarity. Even at 6 years old, they knew the difference between love and use. I picked up my phone. The family group chat was still active. Pictures of beaches, restaurants, forced smiles. They'd rebooked their trip. Life had moved on without me, as if I'd been cut from the frame. I didn't reply. I just photographed the drawings and saved them in a folder titled Reasons. Then I drafted an email to my manager. Hi Jessica. I'll be taking that freelance offer in Seattle. Ready for a fresh start. My hand hovered over the send button, a tremor of doubt flickering through me. Not fear of leaving, but of finally choosing myself. I pressed send. Outside, wind rattled the window. The same sound as the sliding airport doors when I'd first stepped away. Only this time I wasn't escaping anyone. I was walking toward someone I'd almost forgotten. Myself. The kids' drawings sat under my coffee mug, catching every drop that spilled. Proof that not everything breaks when you leave. The news reached them faster than I expected. I hadn't told anyone about Seattle, but gossip in my family traveled like wildfire, always sparked by curiosity and fed by control. It started with a single text from my mother. Mom, moving? To another state? What are you thinking, Emily? Then the group call. My phone buzzed, lighting up with their names. Mom. Sarah. Fish. I stared at the screen until it stopped ringing. Seconds later, another message arrived. Sister, you're abandoning everyone who ever helped you. Brother, guess the kids don't matter to you either. I took a deep breath. For years, those words would have pulled me back in, guilt wearing a familiar voice. But this time they just echoed and disappeared. That evening I packed. The sound of zippers closing felt like punctuation, the kind that ends a sentence you've been trapped inside. I wrapped the twins' drawings in a plastic sleeve and slipped them into my backpack. A reminder of innocence untouched by manipulation. By midnight another call came. I answered. Silence at first, then my mother's voice, small, trembling. Emily, your sister's upset. She says you've changed. I have, I said quietly. And maybe that's the best thing I've ever done. She exhaled shakily. I don't know how to explain this to everyone. You don't have to, I replied. For once, I'm not asking anyone to understand. There was a pause, the kind that holds years of misunderstanding inside it. Then she whispered, just be careful out there. It wasn't approval, but it was something like release. When I hung up, I felt the weight shift, the kind that means a chapter has truly closed. And for the first time, no one's disappointment could reach me. A week later, I stood in the same airport, same polished floors, same echo of rolling suitcases, but everything felt different. Last time I'd been carrying their weight. Now I was carrying mine. At the gate, a woman struggled with 2 toddlers and an overstuffed diaper bag. I stepped forward instinctively, then stopped myself. Old habits don't die, they wait. But this time I smiled, nodded politely and sat back down. My flight number blinked on the screen, Seattle 217. I exhaled. The sound felt like an unspoken goodbye. My phone buzzed once. A picture from my mom, the twins grinning, each holding a sign. Lucy's read, "We love you, Aunt Emmy." Ben said, "Good luck." No caption. No manipulation. His love. Tears rose quietly, the soft kind that don't break you, only cleanse. As I boarded, the sunlight through the glass looked almost identical to that day I'd walked out. But the woman walking now wasn't escaping. She was arriving, inside her own life finally. The door of the plane closed behind me with a soft click. Some endings sound like engines starting. 3 months later, a letter waited on my new porch. No return address, just my sister's handwriting. Inside was a single photo. The twins, smiling with missing teeth, holding a drawing of a plane and 3 stick figures labeled Lucy, Ben, Aunt Emmy. Underneath, a note in shaky cursive. They keep asking when you'll visit. Maybe next time we'll do it your way. I sat there for a long time, the ocean wind brushing across the paper. Seattle rain whispered on the roof, steady and forgiving. I didn't feel triumphant. Just peaceful, like a bruise that finally stopped aching. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. It's simply the moment you stop chasing love that has conditions. I folded the letter, slipped it into my journal beside the kids' old drawings, and looked out toward the water. Silver, endless, alive. They called what I did selfish. I called it survival. The waves rolled in quietly, erasing everything written in the sand. And in that hush between wind and tide, I realized I'd already won.